Hello, everybody, and welcome to the start of episode 5 of our podcast, Barbells, Burgers, and Bitching.
You okay there?
I was going to say, as if we've done 5 episodes already. That's gone really
Doesn't
quick.
time fly when you're having
Oh,
fun?
it does. And I'm
That's what
really
they say.
hoping, I apologise in advance. Actually, not in advance. What's the opposite of advance?
Reverse.
No, that's
Past.
not quite
I reverse in the...
I apologise for last week's episode because our sound quality was not what we thought it was when we first tested it.
We'll figure it out.
And we have trial and tested a few different things, and we think we've figured out the right settings and the right distances, so I'm not basically standing right by the mic. Alas, I'll control my foghorn of a voice, and hopefully it won't make everything go deafening. But this episode is going to be a good one, and also a very relevant one, because we're going to be talking all about coaching versus AI. So in case you're living under a rock, that means artificial intelligence, aka things like Claude, ChatGPT. Actually, there's so...
Claude?
Yeah, that's a really popular one. Have you never heard of that one?
It's called Claude.
Yeah, it's called Claude.
Who the fuck called the AI Claude?
I think that one's supposed to be good for like more imaging. Oh, yeah, no, I think it's better for like images and stuff like that.
Here's my new AI. It's called Dave.
Yeah, it's basically what they're just giving it all names now.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to list them all though, because they're everywhere. But anyway, we know that this, or I don't know about you, I've definitely been asked a few times if this is something I'm concerned about as a coach. And I'm not. And we're going to talk about it for very good reasons. We're going to talk about how AI actually gives its information, where it finds it from, how it presents it to you, the pros of it, because obviously there are pros, we're not going to deny that, the cons of it, because obviously there's a fair few of those as well, and just basically help you understand like how you can use it to your advantage when formulating a program, a training, a nutrition plan, how you can help it in day-to-day life, but also what to be aware of when using it to help you on your journey. But before we get into it, as always, we like to start off with a random question, as in icebreaker, if you will. Alex, leave that one to you. What question did you come up with?
We were going to... it's the social norm one, wasn't it? Yeah. So if we could remove one social norm from society, which one would we pick? And I suppose we could do and why. Do you want you fire away?
That sounded so questionable. Say that with some confidence.
What social norm would you get rid of? And why?
So much. I've
done it deliberately because I'm playing up.
The whole reason we're doing this podcast is because the second you stick a script or like a camera in front of Alex, he just goes so
I deliberately was not telling that because you called me out. That was deliberate. I can do it more.
Okay.
I'm not a natural showman. Am I? No.
Anyway, what social norm would I stick in the bin?
You can do, if there's multiple, do some honourable mentions and then pick out that pool.
There's a lot.
Just voice your thoughts.
I feel like there could be a lot for women in general because,
okay.
And I knew you were going to react like that, but you don't get it because you're not a woman.
Go on then. Catcalling.
Oh God, social norms for women though.
Catcalling can get in the bin.
Is that a social norm?
I don't know what you're going to get at.
And I can get in the bin, but I don't know if that's classed as a social norm. I guess it kind of is. Actually, yeah, no, because people, maybe less so now, but that definitely used to be normalised. Like, well, it must have been because men seem to think it's appropriate to just whistle out of their car as they're driving past women and think that that is okay and that's not like massively derogatory or intimidating or patronising or just icky. It's so icky.
I've been next to someone when that's happened and I like to think they're a wolf whistling at me.
Maybe it was you and your massive
voice. Oh, sweet cheeks. look at that arse, mate. Thank you, Dave.
For working really hard on that.
Yeah, caked up.
Oh, other social norms. I should have thought about this more before we...
No, because it's off the cuff. It's just bam, 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 gone. There must be stuff that pisses you off. I know what mine is straight away.
Do you know what I hate? Email culture. And I feel like you'll only understand this if you've ever worked in corporate. And it's bizarre.
I haven't done that, so.
But there's like an unwritten way, an unspoken way that you write emails when you're talking to colleagues or you're talking to like external, I don't know, partners or, I don't know, companies or whatever. And it's like, hello, I hope this email finds you well. It's like you could absolutely despise that person. You could not give a shit if they are well. You couldn't care how their day is going. But for some reason, everyone just seems to think that that's the only way you can start an email. Or, you know, when you're talking like, I will look forward to your reply, aka make sure you get this fucking reply to ASAP. And it's just, when I like used to work in corporate, I just spoke like how I wanted to speak. and it was so much easier. But I feel like initially it broke down
That's
that.
bullshit. You wouldn't have spoken how you actually want to speak.
Well, not how I would speak to you, but I would speak to like, hello.
That makes it sound like you
this has
treat
been
me
done.
like trash.
No, but like, I mean, obviously I'd speak correctly. Like, it's not like I'm going to speak in slang or like in code, or I wouldn't be like BRB or.
But based
like,
on what you said, it'd be
like
almost like, if it was someone you didn't like, how you saying you had to be like, oh, I hit this fancy, well, you'd be like, oi, twat.
That's what I mean. I
mean-
wouldn't like swear or anything like that, but I would just get straight to the point. I don't fanny about with all of this stupid lingo. That used to really ick me. And I think that's honestly that's not the reason I stopped working in corp, but it was just one of the things that I hated, because also, oh God, I've got nothing wrong with corporate companies, and like I had a great experience in it in general, but also there was like this whole weird narrative that everyone just has to act like, yes, you have to like have a level of professionalism, but people were just fake. People were acting like they were so invested and so interested in people's projects, in what people had to say, and then you'd be so confused, and I'd be like, I'm so sorry, am I really behind here? Or like, why am I not understanding what's going on? Ask someone else, and that, oh, I've got no idea, I'm just nodding and agreeing and like getting on with it. And I'm like, but that makes no sense, because you're not understanding, they're not understanding, you're not understanding, and then we're just all lying to each other but gassing each other up because we're making out like, oh, we're all best buds here, like, you're doing great, you deserve a promotion, and you haven't got a fucking clue what's just come out of their mouth or what they've been yapping on Zoom for like the last hour. I feel like that is that niche. I feel like corporate people would get that.
I feel that's not niche, because a lot of people would work corporate jobs.
Yeah,
I think you're gonna get a lot of people being like, "Preach it, Han."
Maybe.
You're hitting it home.
I think it's also because I used to work in big pharma, so like a lot of the projects we would learn about is like people's projects in like drug development or drug discovery. So obviously that is very niche, and everyone would have their own specific like area of expertise. So it's not like, not everyone would be expected to understand every single niche. But then you're like, why is no one asking questions? Why are we just nodding and agreeing like we know what is good? Because I'm so lost here, and I'm trying so hard not to fall asleep on the Zoom call because I'm trying to pay attention. It's probably useful, but I haven't got a clue what all of these big fancy words mean, but you're too scared to acknowledge the fact that you don't know something, so you're just going to nod and agree anyway. And I just think that's weird. No? Just accept you don't know something. Like, you're going to sound like more of an idiot if someone questions you on it.
Yeah, but
you're like, oh.
but I think that's just like, that frustrates me in our industry. So that's going to be everywhere. It's just people just bullshitting.
Like, if something doesn't make sense, just say you don't get it.
No, because that shows weakness.
No, it doesn't. No, it shows stupidity when you get questioned on it. Like, but you said you knew that. Anyway, sorry, that was a bit of a tangent.
Is that the one you go for? Your email culture?
I don't know.
Is it just corporate culture in general?
Hate corporate culture. Corporate culture. Just because it's so fake. The people in corporate, at least from my experience, were so lovely, and they're great, and it was a great overall experience, but just like that unwritten vibe and energy and fakeness, just maybe they weren't being fake. I felt like I was being fake, or I felt like I couldn't fully be my authentic self because I would be judged. So maybe that's just all on me. That could be me internalizing it all.
I don't think so. No, because
I don't know. I feel like there's definitely some people who love that. They love to act all cool and professional and be like, oh yeah, la-di-da-di-da. No, I'm going to be offensive now. I think that's fine. Like, each to their own. It's just not for me. Moving on. What's yours?
I felt that was cathartic for you.
Yeah, I feel like I need to get off that on my chest.
Oh, some trauma that got out. Small talk. Easy. I hate it. There's no need for it.
How's the weather? Just stop talking. Don't ask me.
But how many times do you like if you're on lunch, you go to the staff room, your break room, you're on lunch with someone, there's someone you didn't really know, they try to make conversation with you. Dude, I'd rather have the half an hour silence. I don't give a fuck about how the day is or what the weather's doing. Just shut up and let me eat and just leave me alone. I don't care.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough.
But also, why waste your breath on something so meaningless? Like, if you're going to talk to me about something, make it interesting. Like an icebreaker like this. If it was someone saying like, some weather we're having, Alex, I'm like, yeah, fuck off. But if it was someone saying, if you could make all car horns, if you could just snap your finger and all car horns across the world all sounded the same, what noise would you pick? Speak my language. Something like that.
I don't know if that class is that small talk, probably.
No, because you're getting, it's then like, it's evolving into something you're like, what would be funny?
No, I get that. That's fair enough.
Box.
So basically what Alex is saying is like, don't start a conversation with him if it's not going to lead to somewhere really rogue.
Not even really rogue, but just something more than how's the weather or I don't know.
Be interesting.
My cat did something today. It's like, cool.
Would you do that though?
What?
Would you start a conversation with a random stranger and just tell them, like, ask them how the cat's doing?
No, because that's small talk. That's what I'm saying. Don't do that.
Oh, sorry. Would you ask a random stranger, like, what?
I'm pretty
if you
sure.
could replace like the noise of all horns.
I'm pretty sure I've asked like when there's been some of us sat in like the staff room before, and they're all like people that don't really know each other. I kind of dropped a bomb of like, "What do you think about this?" Go boom.
Is that in a room complete full of strangers?
Not strangers, but like I didn't really know them.
Okay, fair enough.
But like I think that's just. But also I like that chaos. I like introducing something and people, like if you do something a bit like you put something out that's a bit controversial and people are shocked. I thrive on that, making them feel a bit
on edge.
Yeah.
I feel like that's some untapped something.
What, psychopath?
I don't know, but it's something.
I've got a weird sense of humour, so that's probably it.
Moving on. I think we could talk about that all day, and we've already waffled.
We've already waffled.
Waffled for 10, 11 minutes.
10, 11 minutes of waffling?
Let's get into it. So,
yes.
AI. It can help you build a program in 5 seconds, but is it any good? What are your initial thoughts? I just want to get before we go into it, your like general opinion on AI and what you think it's good for, what you think it's not.
Not even in regards to fitness, just in general.
Fitness, no. Keep it on.
Keep on fitness. Yeah. As someone who is a dinosaur, the concept of ChatGPT and AI blew my fucking mind. When someone was like, "Oh, there's this thing, and you can put stuff in, and it creates images, and you can ask it questions and answers." I was like, "Nah, no,
stay away."
Yeah, it's like, yeah. Everyone that knows me knows I'm a bit, Neanderthal when it comes to technology.
I taught Alex how to Control C the other day, just for context.
I didn't. That was like black
magic.
He
didn't know what the C, like Control C or the Control V function did on a normal laptop.
Yeah, when I used to work at like the old place, I had to have someone show me where the on button was for the monitor because I couldn't find it. They'd switched all the computers and I couldn't find it. I don't understand.
You're not that old to warrant that level of stupidity though when it comes to technology.
No, I just there's something about it. I just don't. It's like online banking.
Oh my God, yeah.
I prefer going to speak to someone in branch. I don't trust them. I have it now, but like when I go in there all the time, they're like,
he got forced to renew his car insurance via an app this month.
Not forced to, but they like it's.
Well, he called them up to like.
So you can do this on the app, and I was like, "Here's a time to put on your big boy pants, Alice. Give in to technology." But the amount of times I've gone into a bank and they've been like, "You can do this on the app." I'm like, "Don't care. I want to speak to people."
I don't trust technology.
I don't trust the technology. Anyway, what do I think about it? I think
overall in one sentence.
Oh, it's not one sentence.
It can be.
Okay, to quote, is it a football thing that is? No. Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
Oh, yeah.
We've got a thing.
So it's trying to reconnect, make sure you have a stable internet connection. We do. I think it's still going. Okay, go. What about me?
Do I do it again?
No, I think it's worked.
Does it work? Okay.
I think it's great. And I think there's no point trying to resist it or trying to badmouth it or try and suggest that it's not something that can have huge potential in making the world a very efficient place to be. But it's definitely got its question marks that you need to be aware of, which is the whole point of this podcast. So in the context of health and fitness, what you need to be looking out for and how to make it work best for you. But before we get into that, we want to actually talk about how AI works so you understand how it's getting the information that it's actually spitting out. So you can also understand why it might not always be appropriate and you don't just have to take our word for it.
This is all you, by the way.
I was going to say, do you want to cover this or not?
It works because it's got lots of little people inside on hamster wheels and they generate the electricity.
So,
I don't know, fucking...
AI typically works using pattern recognition, which essentially it's going to scan the internet, scan articles, scan websites and whatnot to be able to predict what the most common answer is to your question. Something else I should say, is to bear in mind that it's going to tell you whatever it thinks you want to hear. So it won't necessarily call you out on your bullshit. It won't necessarily call you out when it thinks you're talking a load of rubbish or if you're way off. It's going to tell you that it's like, oh, you're almost right, but here maybe you could add a few little extra tweaks when really you could be so far off the mark that it's like low-key dangerous. Or it's not necessarily going to tell you all the things that you should be considering. And it's also only going to be as good as what you put in. So like one of the biggest lessons my maths teacher taught me back in, I don't even think I was at GCSE level at that point. It was before GCSE. But it's stuck in my head because she was a terrifying maths teacher. And she said there's like no such thing as a bad calculator or like a dodgy calculator. A calculator is only as shit as the person pushing the buttons, basically. And this is the same. Like you're going to get an answer as equally as good or shit as the prompt that you give it. So if you're not going to give it all of the context, all of the variables, all of the information that it needs to know to give out a really good answer, then expect a shit answer. The caveat to that is that you also have to understand if you're not experienced in training and nutrition, if you don't have that level of knowledge, if you don't have that level of certification or qualification, you're not going to know what you need to be telling it to get that appropriate answer. So, if you do know, then great. If you don't, but also you don't know what you don't know, do you? So that's another thing. Anyway, So it scans, the information basically already out there on the internet. It scans what people have already put into it. So it's going to use the most common answers that people give it and base it off other people's inputs. And it's going to go off what's most statistically common, not correct. Difference there. Common, not correct. So again, it's not going to give you factual information that's like been proven left, right, and center. It's not going to necessarily give nuance that is found in scientific literature. It's going to have a lot of gaps in that regard and purely give you an answer based off pattern recognition. Another thing to take into consideration, or maybe this is like a con actually of it. I was going to talk about how it can't give you like personal feedback based on other things, but I think that's. Well, I was going to say, like, it can't give you feedback based on, like, personal variables, like how's your ability to manage stress, what's your sleep quality like, what is your exercise execution like, it can't see your form, but I think that's a con.
I suppose some stuff it could.
But it purely goes off what you write in.
That's what I mean.
It can't look at you as a person.
So I suppose it depends, like, if you go to the doctors and you give a problem, they're like, do you smoke? How many times a week do you
and
do this?
No, and you're like, you're lying.
Yeah. So I think the other thing as well is, like, off that, is that if you're putting in, if you ask it to, give you some questions back so it can get the most amount of information, you have to be honest with it. It's the same as anything. Like, if you're doing a questionnaire.
Yeah.
It's like the questionnaire is only going to be as useful or reliable as the information you give it. And if it's something that you're embarrassed about because you should be getting more sleep and you're only getting 3 hours, you're going to... but that comes back to the general thing of it's only as good as the prompts and the information you give it. So I suppose it just falls...
Because it's like a question.
It falls back into that category, doesn't it?
I could ask clients or inquiring clients certain questions that I need to know in order to formulate their plan. And dependent on how they will answer it will determine how I approach that factor.
But I also think as coaches as well, with that, sometimes we know that with certain questions, we have to take it with a pinch of salt.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we know,
but AI can't do that because it has to take it very literally. It can only take what you give it.
If you give it something, it has to go off that statement that you gave it. It can't go, oh, are people honest for all the time?
Yeah, exactly. It's just going to have to take what it knows. But anyway, there are definitely many pros to that. And I think we could definitely touch on that now because it,
So we're going to go over the pros?
The way the world's going.
Pros?
Sure, you can take away with this if you want. Some of them, what do you think are pros?
I think for people that potentially don't, like beginners, it could potentially... Obviously, it's like they're saying, I don't know, it's like if you speak to some old heads in the fitness space, they're always like, well, we didn't have the internet and we didn't have... Back in our day, we only had to go off what other people that were like powerlifters or bodybuilders or endurance athletes went off. We couldn't ask the interwebs. And now, you got the interwebs at the tip of your fingers. So I think for people that are like, for beginners, the pro is that you've pretty much got an unlimited resource at the tip. So in terms of getting into it as like a gateway into it, it might be a nice way to start getting to understand some of the basics and fundamentals. Like, as a beginner, what should I do? And it's going to spit something out very generic because you've given it no information. But as someone getting into it, as we've said before, doing a bit of something is better than doing nothing. So if you can get it to give you something like a rough structure for a beginner, again, it's going to be very general. I mean, that's better than doing nothing.
Yeah.
So I suppose it's a nice gateway for beginners who don't necessarily know.
You just need to take it with a pinch of salt, I think, is what we're saying. And obviously we're going to go into detail on what you need to be considering and how you can get the most out of that. But it's accessible, which is good because
I think for coaches as well,
isn't always accessible for everyone.
So from a coaching standpoint or how we'd use it, I think it's good because we know what to ask it. Sometimes we can almost use it as like a bit of a check.
I think it's good for ideation, personally.
Coming up with ideas, but also you could be like, I had this idea, and you can put it in a detail and see if you're getting something roughly back or if it's on the same lines. So it's almost a way to, like, not completely rely on it, but if it spits something out where it's like on the same lines, you could be like, oh.
What, isn't like a confidence booster?
Not a confidence boost, but almost just like a fact check.
Maybe. Even then, I'd take it with a pinch of salt.
Oh, no, I do take it with a pinch of salt.
If you ask it, then it's still going to probably tell you right, even if you're so far wrong, because I've tested it before.
But I'm saying because we know, we can be more in-depth with the stuff that we prompt it with. Like, it's not going to just be like, what should a beginner do? It can be like, I have a beginner that is this old, they've got this much training history, they have these injuries, and it's almost like but we know what prompts to give it. Yeah. So I suppose we could get a bit more out of it.
Potentially. I still wouldn't probably use it for that reason.
I don't use it at all for that, but sometimes it's just nice to see, contrast and compare. Like you're saying, for ideas.
Yeah. No, I get that. For it to give you inspiration and to give you ideas and like where you could go with it. But I think actually that's probably, again, that's a con. I think that's something that's becoming a little bit scary, that you're seeing, and it's very obvious that certain coaches are relying on it entirely for legitimate coaching or like programming, and they're like giving clients programs, or they're giving clients advice that you only have to look at it to read it, that you can see like this is not from a human. Like you can see that this is.
But I think the other thing is as well is like, if you're asking something that is AI that's very just ones and zeros, you're going to get ones and zeros back. Whereas coaching people isn't ones and zeros. Like we're going to talk into, this is going to be a massive talk on the cons, so I'll keep it brief. But like, people are unique and messy and individual, this kind of stuff. So like, when we've learned stuff from books or courses and the internet, it always gives you like the perfect scenario. This is what happens if you have a healthy person that comes to you and they adhere to it all the time and they're happy and they've got no stresses and all this kind of stuff. But people aren't like that.
Yeah.
So you can very much see people that panic where they haven't got that foundation to do that. So all of a sudden, like, you've done your course, you've asked ChatGPT for this, that, the other, or whatever, and then there comes to a real person that's might have an injury, might have this, their life isn't, and they don't know what the hell to do because they've never had to apply it to a real thing or had that real world experience. It's purely been from resources. They haven't had time doing the thing. So like you say, it's very easy to see people that are relying on
ChatGPT for that.
Yeah, just they have no clue. But also, I think as a good coach, like, we could very easily have a conversation with someone and know I'm going to sound like a dickhead should we just.
I don't know what you're about to say.
No, but I mean in terms of like, you know how I go on my personal rants where there's some people that just.
Don't go to personal rant now, stay on topic. Pros of using AI.
No, but I mean it's related to that.
Well, I don't know what you're going to say, so.
Nah, fuck it, move on. Move on.
So accessibility is a big pro. I think bringing awareness around what you should be focusing on, providing you're obviously cueing it right and prompting it right, is another pro. Education for sure, like it definitely can spit out some information that's really useful, but again, that quality of education is going to be dependent on the input, so the prompt that you're giving it. And as you say, like for us, for coaches as well, like it definitely does give us a space that we can have that for like ideation, for ideas, bounce ideas off it. I don't know, I guess fact check and see if like what we think is correct or whether we're missing anything. For sure, it's just providing we're not becoming lenient on it. Because I think that's definitely going to, not just coaching though, any industry, the second you start leaning on it too much, what's the phrase? When something goes so far the other way, it'll always find a way back. And I think if people go too far in relying on AI, like there will hit a point where there's a serious problem. People can't think for themselves. People can't be independent. People just become probably like stupid, genuinely stupid, because they never practice thinking for themselves. And then it'll have to bounce back. So I think just trying to prevent much as possible.
Ebb and flow?
Maybe that's what it is. Yeah, the ebb and flow. The ebb and flow, that's his life. But the cons, which is basically kind of what we've already been speaking about anyway.
Yeah.
Do you want to take it away? The biggest cons of using AI for your own coaching and training?
Yeah, so the biggest one is, I think, it's only the information you get back is only going to be as good as the prompt that you give it. So if you've got people that are beginners, if you've got people that think they know more than what they do, you give it basic bitch answers, it's going to give you very basic bitch responses. That's the one I had a stroke. I couldn't think of what I was going to say. So yeah, if you give it very generic stuff, because the biggest thing I'm banging on about at the minute on my socials is about how everything is unique to you. You are unique. You are your own thing. What I need to work on is going to be different than what Hannah needs to work on and whatever. So if you're giving it very just shotgun, scattergun questions, how's it going to ever be able to tailor something to you that you need? Yeah. It won't. So don't be upset about it. But like you said, how many people have you had come to you saying like, can you review my ChatGPT?
Well, this is kind of what inspired this episode idea in the first place, because
this is shit.
I am increasingly getting more people fact check things with me, or like DM me and be like, oh hi, would you mind taking like a quick glance over this training program I've written for myself? Lies. Or like, am I doing this right in my nutrition? And I'm like looking at what these guys are trying to follow, and the first question I need to ask is like, where was the thought process behind this? Like, what are you trying to achieve? Where did you get these ideas from? And they say, oh, I asked ChatGPT, or I asked AI to create a training program for me, and this is what it said. And honestly, I could have said that from the get-go, but obviously I'm not going to be rude and just assume it's dog shit though. And it makes no sense. And the fact that they don't understand what it's doing just speaks volumes for it, because it's giving the most generic thing, and it's no different to just asking Google or going on your favorite influencers Instagram page and just trying to follow their training program. It's no different. Like, you can tell AI, I've got X amount of days to train, I can spend X amount of time in the gym, this is the equipment I have, this is what I want to achieve, and it will give you a training program for sure. And maybe if you're just getting started in, that's all you've got to be able to play with, then yeah, as a pro, that might be an accessible way to get you into the gym, but don't expect lasting, continuing results, because it won't periodize that for you. It won't be able to select exercises based on your strengths and weaknesses. It won't be able to personalize the program to your special requirements and what it is, you want to achieve, because just getting stronger or just building muscle, again, has its nuances. Like, it sounds basic, it sounds, simple from a surface level point of view, but it does require nuance, and it does require that specialization if you want those better results.
I'll give a practical example using myself as that.
Go for it.
Thank you. So yeah, the whole context thing, again, to reiterate, that is absolutely huge. And if you ask it an example, so say like you're into strength training, you've got a specific weakness, and you say, oh, ChatGPT, I've missed my bench in this bit. Why was that? It's going to, like, the whole thing about Hannah saying at the beginning about how it operates, it's just going to scan and give you the most popular answer as to why people would miss there.
Mm.
Whereas there could be several reasons why. So for example, my bench, I'm not meant to brag or anything, but I'll use me.
You got a 160 kg PB this week, just FYI, in case no one
Last
saw that.
week?
Last week.
Last week. Yeah, check it out. But anyway,
Before he got this, though.
When I competed in August, I missed my third attempt, which was 157 and a half, halfway up. Pushed off chest, halfway up, just hit a wall, couldn't grind through, failed it. And then, August, September, October, 3 months later, spent time addressing weaknesses, I've hit 160 without that sticking point. And it was pretty smooth all the way up. So the most common reason that you'll get for people as to why you miss halfway up is a tricep weakness, right? Triceps are weaker, or they lose leverage at the bottom when they're more in the flex, and then as your arms straighten, they gain leverage. So you think, oh, triceps aren't strong enough, you need more tricep strength, floss through. That is one reason. That could be one reason. That might be your reason. However, that wasn't the reason why I was missing. Whereas if you had a lot of people and I put that into ChatGPT, the answer I probably would have gotten was you need to use your triceps more. I'm a closer grip bencher than Hannah, for example. So my bench is basically arms. And so my triceps are strong. The tricep strength wasn't the issue. It was that I couldn't keep my shoulder blades in the right position. And because I couldn't keep my shoulder blades in the right position, it wasn't giving my pecs the right leverage I couldn't use them effectively, basically. So what I was asking my triceps to do is do all of the work. And they basically got to the point where they're like, nah, we can't keep on grinding out a rep for 5 seconds. Whereas a lot of the work we've done now, when I've watched that video, back, analyzed it and been like, what's going on here, is a lot of work to make sure the scaps can stay down. So a lot of some back work, and then a lot of pec work to bring up the strength that wasn't there. So it means that I can use my pec for the first half, and then triceps can take over and floss through. So we've been doing that for 3 months, and now I've hit an all-time PB. From missing it in comp when I'm peaked to hitting a 160 when I'm in the depths of training.
But why wouldn't have AI been able to pick that up?
Because it didn't see any training footage, for one.
You can't watch what you're doing.
It can't watch what you're doing.
What
you're telling it to do. And like with anything in training, a weak point might be because there's a certain muscle group that's lagging. It might be that you can't maintain a position. There might be specific reasons why you can't maintain it. There could be a handful.
It could be all down to external pressures.
You stress, you haven't eaten enough, you sleep with shit, you're not hydrated. So like there are multiple reasons why you would have a sticking point in a certain position. Whereas ChatGPT, you put that in and go, why did I miss? It'll just, like say, scour the internet. What's the most popular answer? Triceps.
Yeah.
So if all I'd done was gone on ChatGPT and done that, I'd still be training my triceps, which I know aren't a weakness. They're a strength of mine. And I would have not got any further because all I'm doing is making the thing that is stronger better. Whereas actually what I needed to do was make my back stronger, or the muscles responsible for keeping my shoulder blades down together so I could maintain that position, and then strengthen the pecs, which I couldn't use because I couldn't keep my scaps in the position to give them leverage. So, but that's what I mean. If I'd used ChatGPT for that, I'd be no further forward. And that's a practical example for that lack of context one.
Lovely. So
Just
I think that summarizes, lack of context, also generic programming. as we just said, like it spits out very generic things, which again, maybe that's fine just to get you started. But again, it's not going to be ideal, and there are going to be a lot of gaps that are going to be missed.
And I think that's the thing I'm hammering home at the minute is if you want to progress at anything, you need to be working out what's weak and making it better. The big issue in strength training or whatever it is you're doing is identifying what the weak link is. If you're using AI, it's not going to have the whole picture. So to identify that main driver of how to make things better is going to be missed, and you'll just be chasing your tail, getting frustrated, potentially getting hurt because you're not making the weaker things better, and it just turns into a whole mess. Whereas what you should be doing,
No, I think that's just off the back of that though,
speaking to
because
people
you're
who know what the fuck they're doing.
yeah, but you're speaking super like specific to strength athletes as well. Like even if we're just talking general population who are just wanting to get active, start
Yeah.
building some tissue, maybe start getting stronger, but they're not even at that point where they have weak points to identify because they're just all around weak.
You're just weak.
If people aren't looking at your face there, that'll just sound like you're just throwing shit at them.
My face looked funny because there's a fly on the screen, so I said that, and then the fly caught my eye.
Yeah, but it just sounded like you're weak, and I was like, I just said that.
Yeah. No, I was just reiterating. I was just echoing it. Yeah, beginners. You don't have a weak point. You're weak.
No, but the
everywhere.
point, like, that could be beneficial, but also what you need to take into account is things like load management, execution, volume management, because all of this contributes to potential risk of injury. And if you are weak to begin with, you're obviously going to be more prone to that. So if you're not taking into consideration things like load management, form execution, what was the other one like volume management and things like that, periodization, you're going to be prone to getting injured quicker, which means you're going to be also at a high risk of potentially getting derailed, like throwing off your plan, feeling demotivated, getting hurt, obviously. And that is just not fun for anyone.
But as well, it's like, because we're all individual, some of the first things I'll ask people when they come on board is like, have you had any injuries before? Like, you can look at how they're built. Like, you'll see some people that are just built to squat, right? So squats are great for building their quads. You'll see some people that are built like the Slender Man or like whatever. So their leverages make them more forward torso. So they're not going to be as quaddy because of how they're built. So like, are squats really good for building someone's quads? Potentially. But if they're two different people, they might need something else that's going to be more quad because their biomechanics don't lean them to a more quad dominant squat pattern, which means, but then AI doesn't know that.
No.
We only
just tell you to squat.
we only see that from like taking someone in from a first session and being like, right, okay, how do you move? And you go, oh shit, okay, well, if AI was going to spit that out, maybe that wasn't going to be the best thing for you, but because I can see you in person, we need to make these changes, we need to put these things in specifically for you because you are an individual and not a
and also
cutter
from
thing.
a nutrition standpoint, it's generic programming, this lack of context, and also the fact that it lacks massive amounts of emotional intelligence is dangerous because nutrition isn't just about calculating your calories and your macros. You could go on Google, type in a calorie or macro calculator and find out what your recommended would be. Anyway, like it'd take you seconds. Even then, some of the calculators are going to come out with absolute bollocks and can't be followed or trusted. But AI is not going to be able to help take into consideration your relationship with food, your history with food, your risk of eating disorders. This is all stuff that even some coaches can't be dealing with, and it's beyond their scope. So recognizing that and recognizing when you need to be referred onto someone more specific, more niche, more professional, and more experienced in that field is so important, which again, some coaches themselves don't even know how to recognize. So how do you expect AI to be able to deal with that?
Stay in your lane.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But also like recognizing behavior change, recognizing emotion around certain foods, how you handle certain habits, how you manage stress, how you respond to all of these different factors are all massive considerations that have a huge impact on your success. And AI will not be able to support with that at all.
The emotional side is just such a massive one because you can see, like, obviously when I'm doing it, like coaching people in person, you can see just from the way that someone walks in, how they carry themselves, what their body language is looking like. You can walk in and be like, oh shit, like something, you're going through some stuff, like something is going on. And then you can have that conversation, be like, oh, hi, like, hey, name, like, you don't seem your usual bubbly self, like, you're carrying, like, is everything okay? No, X, Y, Z's happened. Okay, cool. So maybe that 1 rep max back squat we had planned isn't appropriate for today. Maybe we just make it something a bit, we scale back on the load and we make it something where it's just, you're coming in here just to have a break from what's going on. Robot doesn't know that. Robot goes, oh, you're going to hit your max today, dude. You're going to snap yourself in half like a biscuit.
Exactly. But like the same thing for both nutrition and training. You will get people that I know, I definitely get these clients who will put on a brave face and they can be going through absolute hell and they'll be like, I'm fine, I can just crack on, whatever, I can do it, I can push it, because that's just their mentality. And sometimes the job of a coach is to literally butt heads with your client and
Yeah.
tell them that's not fucking happening today.
Mhm.
I'm telling you now as your coach, you need to listen to me. This is what you quite literally pay me to do. We're not doing that. I know you can. I know you probably could if you put your mind to it, but that's not going to be appropriate. It's not going to be safe. It's not smart. And that is where a coach steps in to be able to, you know, override that decision that could potentially put you in harm's way. And the same when you get like clients or inquiring clients that haven't got results before or struggling, like they're not coming to you to just tell them what they want to hear. You need to almost like, and we'll probably a lot of the time disagree with maybe their previous thoughts, processes, like beliefs, because those are exactly what have got them in the position in the first place. So, you know, AI again won't do that because it's designed to tell you what it thinks you want it to hear or you want it to tell you. Whereas a coach isn't there to do that. Like, for sure, we're here to support you. We're there to keep you accountable, which also AI cannot do. It cannot check on you every morning. It cannot be like, hello, you've not been tapping in this week. Like, where the fuck are you? Why are you not, you know, submitting your sessions, or why are you not tracking your macros or whatever that is? And it can't do that. And it also can't, you know, it's not designed to argue with you or like call you out when you're doing something that's not
But I
productive.
think in a lot of those situations, we've also been there as well. So like the other thing is like we get it. Like when you're going through some shit or you don't feel you're having a bit of lull with training, like we can understand and we can sympathize with that. And we're like, hey, you know what? We've been here. We know what it's like. Let's just have a bit of time where it's, you know, we pivot some stuff.
Yeah.
But again, if you're in that frame of mind, are you going to be able to ask AI saying, I'm feeling like shit? Your gut reaction is probably going to be throw the toy. I'm done, whatever. Whereas again, we can, how many times you have conversations with clients at like 11:30, 12 at night? And it's just like talking them through things and helping them out at that
Don't know if I
time.
should admit to that.
Huh?
Don't know if we should admit to that.
Why?
Because that's like a professional basis. Like, you don't manage your boundaries very well. Not very often.
No, but no, I'm saying
But I
no,
would if a client needed me.
no.
I would.
It's not like it's a regular thing. But you know when someone's going through, like if someone's gone through some shit, and you know that they're having some really tough time, and it's like, well, yeah, every now and again, I'm more than happy to like lend a hand. It's
No,
what
we would.
it's what we're. But like AI doesn't, you can't sympathize with people like that.
No, it's accessible at any time you want it, but it's not the same in the sense like it doesn't have that experience to apply to your scenario. So it can't be like, look, I've been here, or look, I've dealt with this before. Like, it's all right, we've got experience, we know how to deal with this. Like, the theory might not be quote unquote optimal right now, but this is how we need to adapt and pivot and make sure that you have got the support that you need, because again, what is quote unquote optimal, which is what you might be asking of it for like ChatGPT or something like that, might not actually be what you need or what's going to be most appropriate. But again, AI isn't going to know what's going to be most important for you or like appropriate for you in that given period of your life.
I think we've
Covered all of that. Do you think all the notes that we put down?
the generic one we covered as well. It's just more of the same stuff. It's like,
Yeah. So it doesn't keep you accountable. It lacks a lot of context. It's pretty generic, and it lacks that emotional side, which obviously coaching is all about. Also, actually, something we didn't mention is the fact that it doesn't have any community. A huge part of coaching, I think, is the group that you create, the sort of supportive culture that you have. No computer can fill that. And I think that is a massive one, is the reason like coaching will always be a thing. And I think people are getting a little bit scared now of AI and thinking like, oh my God, it's going to put me out of a job. Like, so long as you're a decent human and you create a space that people want to be in and want to be a part of, AI isn't going to do shit. It's not going to touch you, mate, because, well, you know, if you're just a basic coach who just spits out a textbook information, then sure, it is going to replace you. But that's not really a coach, is it? That's just someone who can regurgitate a level 3, level 2 PT course or nutrition course, or whatever. Alas, I think we spoke about that. The other part we wanted to talk about, which again, to be fair, we've kind of talked about, was the human element, just in general, because that is the big thing, I guess, that we were also just saying with the community factor, is what differentiates good coaching in AI. Is there anything you wanted to add on to it?
what role in it? We've got coaching.
I've written
No,
some notes on
I think
that.
if just go, yeah. I think we could just reiterate a bit about the about how, you know, you pivot and stuff to pay depending on what's going on. What do you think we've covered that
No, I
enough?
think we've definitely covered
Yeah.
that enough. We
Okay.
spoke about that like 4 times.
All right.
The future of AI in fitness, where do you think it's going to go?
Terminator. We're gonna have a full on. It's gonna Arnie's gonna come back with a shotgun. He's gonna.
The voice of
Was he
ChatGPT.
Was he after Sarah Connors or was he after the kid? He was after the kid, wasn't he?
I can't remember. It's been ages since I've watched Terminator.
That's
Don't
right.
try. You were going to try and impersonate him then.
What, Arnie? I could do a great Arnie impression.
Go on,
Go do the job, Honest,
no context.
and kill your kid. I've been sent back to protect him.
How long have
That
you been
lost it.
practicing that?
Yeah, where is it going? I don't. I don't know, because it's like, I think you see it a lot in the fitness space anyway. You'll see this whole thing of, stretching becomes popular and then it stops being popular and then it comes back again. But I think if we look at, I know obviously ChatGPT and everything's come out now, but I know there's a few companies that were using AI to do their programs, like Juggernaut. I'm pretty sure they were using some kind of AI
I
as
know a lot of coaches that use AI to do the things, but I
like,
won't call them out here because they'll probably get sued or something.
I'm not calling them out, I'm just saying that I know there's ones like, I think RP, Mike Israel's one, RP Strength. I think a lot of their stuff, so it's a whole like, you'd put your stuff in, and then based on what you put in and like your RP and how you're feeling, it would then spit out what your numbers and stuff should be the following. But again, it's like, if I was getting, that's okay because it's telling you what to do. But again, it's like, I suppose RPE is only one metric to use. Like, obviously it's personal to you and how you're feeling and how that rep felt, but why did that rep feel shit? Or why did that rep feel good? There's so much more than just like that one or two bits of information it's getting to then justify what those numbers are.
Yeah.
So it's like, as you know, how everyone's getting scared about it. Like you said, I just don't think it'll be ever one of those things where it's like, if you give a shit about the people that you're coaching, if you're good and you know your stuff,
you need to worry about anything.
I don't think you have to be worried about anything, because also as well, like total, like fast forward, say, and everything is just computers and everything. If you were going for like a session or everything, would you just want to be standing? Part of the reason why people go, like, when we've been to like powerlifting specific gyms, was one of the reasons we go in there, because the atmosphere, it's how it feels. You're surrounded by like-minded people. You're surrounded by people that love this thing like you do. Could you imagine going into somewhere where it's just like a cold little box?
I don't think humans would let that happen.
Like, Hannah, you are ready for your 1 hour session, and then like spits of a thing, and it's like, you will now do squats.
Yeah, humans thrive off interaction.
Good job.
Introverts.
Well done. You did good.
You done.
No, yeah.
But no, I agree. I think it's going to be a fantastic tool for businesses, for companies, for anyone to use to make things more efficient and to make things, because I don't know, especially as an online coach, so much of my week is taken up by doing like admin tasks or, I don't know, shit that can be automated. I just either at the moment don't know how, or don't have the resources or the funds to be able to do that. And it means that I can only spend so much time on developing my business, developing resources to help my clients, obviously like coaching my clients, or I should say, like, it means I can only coach so many clients at any one time. And I think AI is going to be fantastic for the good coaches that are genuinely coaches, not just like information regurgitators. Is there a name for that?
Twats.
Right.
But then, sorry, you go on.
No, I was just going to say, like, I think for those, it's going to be really good, because it's obviously going to make your ability to coach so much greater to do on a bigger scale, because you're obviously going to have the support to be able to automate a lot of the stuff that doesn't actually need your attention, or it doesn't need as much as your time. You can just overview it, make sure it's correct, it's what you wanted to do. For example, like even the marketing and sales side of coaching, because people don't understand, like, that takes a huge amount of our time as well, like content creation, content like ideation, or like bouncing ideas off of things like that, or like, different approaches, or what's working well in like markets right now. Like, how can we get the information we want to share across better? Like, what are people responding to well? None of that is actually coaching, but that still requires us to take our time and like our attention to build the business and to be able to deliver what we do. So I think AI in that sense as well can be great. I think it's just super important that there'll always be that human factor, that community element, overarching view of someone who really has been there, done that, got the t-shirt, got the experience, got the results, and can monitor all of this information that's being generated.
Here's a question for you. No, it's generally serious. I was just thinking while you're saying that, because even before AI, there was the issue of like information regurgitators, where it's like people that would they do their level 2, level 3, or they'd get a coach, and then because they hadn't done anything, they'd literally just regurgitate the program they'd been given, but they didn't understand the nuances of it. So that whole issue is not new. So do you think in a way that AI could be a way to filter the good coaches and the bad coaches?
No, that's exactly what I was supposed to say.
Because it's almost like,
I think it's going to be great for the good coaches, because it's going to filter out the shit.
Because it'll make people realise that actually they don't want a robot. They want actually people that know their shit.
Yeah.
It's almost like people will get better at recognising, because you'll get so used to AI and or people will get better at looking at that, generic stuff. Like, how many, I went through a time, didn't I, when people started using ChatGPT, where I'd come up to you and be like, look how many people have written their captions with ChatGPT. And like,
you can spot it a mile.
Again, like, not like using it as to formulate the beginning of an idea, fine. copy
but
and
put your own twist on it. Like,
copy and pasting the bullshit prompt and then putting it into your thing. So it's like, today I did my thing and then I did this and that and you just go. I was like, look, this is just fucking ChatGPT. So people will
also,
get
it
really
uses
good.
the same language. Like,
Yes.
yeah.
But people will get, I think, because of AI and how it's almost like we've taken this big step forward, people will get better
At being more individual.
not getting individual, but looking at what that information, looking at that copy and paste. Whether then go to a code.
Oh, so you mean it's going to highlight like it's copying and pasting?
So like because you'll see, you know, like people get wise to like how many people now. Like I know I'm speaking to one of my clients and she works in the web space, so she can spot a mile off. She's like, she'll come in and be like, guess what I saw? I saw someone's whole front page was written by ChatGPT because again, it had no personality. It wasn't how a human speaks. It wasn't how they spoke. So people like that pattern recognition. I'm learning technology. They're going to get better at spotting that. So then when you go to a coach who's literally just done and they go, why am I doing this? And they go, because
ChatGPT. Why are they doing this?
Whereas part of the thing I love, like about coaching, is just going full nerd on shit. Like all the stuff that I've learned and applied and tried on myself, and then, you know, had some of the clients I've taken through and tried and seen when that doesn't work. I love being able to regurgitate that. So when someone goes, sorry, Alex, why have we changed from doing this exercise to this exercise? And I go, oh, well, it's because in this last cycle, it highlighted all these issues and we've put these and these things in place because we don't need that anymore because we're trying to fix this and we're going to do this, this and this and this. And it's like, I say to people, like, ask me as many questions as you want because I want you to understand.
Yeah.
And if a coach can't, if like, it's the same thing with a program. Like,
this is actually a very valid point what you're about to make. Say what you're going to say. Like if a coach can't,
if a coach can't justify or explain why they're giving you something, they're a fucking shit coach. It's bullshit. Like that's the thing I say to, like, when people come to me, it's like, and I'm having them in sessions after I've done the whole spiel of like, you know, come in, it's right. Any questions you've got, fire away, because I want almost like the bad business, the opposite of what, like the bad business model of me as a coach is, I want to give you
be able to not need me kind of thing.
Yeah, I want to give you everything you need. I want you to understand the stuff so that in theory, in a year or two's time, you could go off and you have the basics to be like, I could put a program together, I could do this, that, and the other. It's like, use me. I love chatting about this stuff. I fucking love it. Whereas you can see people, I'm not naming any names, but I've spoken to coaches, where it's like, I can't even have conversations with them because their understanding is so, it's just like they've done the level 2, level 3, and that's it. They've done no further education. They have not surrounded themselves with the coaches. They've not done mentoring. They've not even done other courses. It's just the fundamentals. So I go, oh yeah, cool. So periodization. And they go, what's periodization? It's like, that's the fundamentals for writing a program. How are you coaching people and you don't know how this fucking thing works? So I think with how AI is now, it might, and maybe people can respond to this. Could be the poll. No, probably not. It's probably too convoluted. let us know. It's like, do you think as a whole, as a population, you're getting better at looking and seeing this kind of like cookie cutter thing of like these generic,
it'd be interesting to see what people
emotionless responses. And the other thing as well is, I think, especially when I've spoken to other coaches and had conversations about stuff, one of the things you can see straight away is when you get them in their element, they don't shut up. They fucking love it. You can hear the passion coming out. Whereas you speak to other ones, it's just almost like it's a means to an end. They're getting up, they're doing this,
to do an easy job,
and they're just they're just there. It's almost autopilot. They get in, they get out. They're not explaining it. It's just, that's it. Whereas, and I get like some of the people I've got, they don't want to know that level. Like I offer it there, but then the ones that do, and they're coming in and like,
wow, we don't force that.
I'm not being like, you will fucking listen to me after you've done your squats and I'll explain everything to you. That's not how it is at all, because I get it, like some people don't, but you probably see over time that they do generally become more interested in their question. But there will be ones that get into this because they also like it and love it. They just don't know enough about how to coach themselves, which is cool. But when you get someone being like, hey Alex, I've noticed this exercise has come out and this is in now, and like, we haven't done this for a bit, like, why is that? And I'm like, get ready for a 5-minute voice note on why this is a thing. But you can, like, that's the other thing when I've had conversations, some of the feedback I've got from speaking with the coaches, like, your eyes light up, dude. Or even clients, like, I could be a bit like whatever, and then they say, it's almost like you can see the fire come out and they can see your eyes light up, and it's like, oh, I love that shit.
But I think it all comes down as well to, like, just to, I guess, wrap this podcast up, because we could talk about this for ages, but like, what do you want out of coaching? Because if you just want a generic training plan, then you could probably speak to a coach you trust and you could be like, look, mate, not really interested in coaching, just want a one-off training plan to get me started. Can you give me something basic? And maybe some coaches might do that. maybe if you prompt it well enough based on what we've said, like to be mindful of, like ChatGPT could give you something fundamental.
Yeah.
But coaching isn't just about telling you what to do. It's not just about go and eat this, come back to me in like a month's time. It's not just go and complete this training program, then come back to me when you've finished. It's that accountability. It's that relatability. It's that human connection. It's that understanding. It's that low-key, it's therapy. Like a lot of us coaches get like, well, obviously it depends on what area we're in. Like me for nutrition, a lot of it is deep and it's emotional, and you have to really connect with the person, or the client, I should say, that you're working with, to be able to understand like how they tick, what's working well for them, why they might be in this situation, why they might have developed these eating habits that they're struggling to overcome, that's hindering them from making progress in their strength training, for example, or, they're running or whatever that might be. And sometimes it can really get that deep, but a computer will never be able to pick up on that because it's not a human.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not that deep. Sometimes it is a little bit more superficial or like surface level, and all people need is a little bit more direction. Some people do just need to be go away and told do X, Y, Z. Come back to me at the end of the week. We'll check everything's going. But regardless, and a level of accountability needs to be had there, no matter like how frequent or infrequent it is. And you need, as well, like coaching. It is community. It is like
100%.
That's the whole reason like we get into this, and that's why we love it so much, because you can talk to people about the same struggles, you can talk to people about your wins, and it makes this whole journey so much more enjoyable. Whereas if you're just literally showing up every single day, never really talking about it, never really like pushing or questioning what's working, what's not, like it's no wonder you're not enjoying it. Like if that is the way you're approaching it, or if it isn't that important to you, then you're probably not even listening to this podcast anyway. But like, those aren't the people that we're trying to help here. So yeah, I think you just really need to understand like what is it you're wanting to get out of coaching versus like what you're trying to get out of asking AI, because they're two very different results. So don't expect the same outcome.
I think the fundamental thing is like, regardless of whether you have a coach or AI, you have to work hard. Like the robot isn't going to replace having to actually put in the effort. If you think AI is the way around actually working hard for whatever reason, I don't understand, but that's not the case. Like just because there's not someone like some of the benefits, like you see, like people do coaching as well, is because, like you're saying, the accountability.
Yeah, and it pushes them to do
and
better.
It pushes them to do better. Like you're not going to get that from a robot. Like if that's something that you need.
Like some of the clients send me the form videos for their exercises, and I'm like, you need to stop training like a little bitch. AI's not going to tell you that. Stop training, sorry, like a little bitch.
Start training like a pussy. Yeah.
No, but sometimes that is what needs to be had. Like not all the time, of course. Like I say that respectfully.
A gentle hand on the shoulders.
Yeah, come on.
Just stop being a little bitch.
Leave that wet wipe behaviour at home. Okay, you train hard.
You have to be a bit uncomfortable to get your results. Just
again, AI won't know that. Do you have any final words to say on this?
No, I don't think so, Hannah. I think we have covered all of the major points.
Thanks, ChatGPT.
Do you reckon it could replace me?
I don't think anyone can replace that brain of yours, darling.
I am too unique.
Think you can replace me?
No, fuck no.
Why just say it like that? What does that mean?
No, you're just very individual, aren't you?
I'm very individual.
You're very unique.
What does that mean?
You march to the beat of your own drum. You ain't no mass-produced robot.
They're gonna go like Elvis, and you ain't nothing but a hound. That's how my brain was going.
You ain't no mass-produced robot, man.
I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, no, for sure.
If you have any questions, guys, or if you don't have the access or like the funds or whatever it is to be able to invest in coaching, but you still want to be able to get some level of, I guess, plan or like direction generated for you, and you don't want to be relying on a robot to be able to get there, like reach out and ask us questions, because we will, put you in the right direction. We love it. We'll tell you what you need to be looking out for, because we don't want anyone getting hurt, injured, put in harm's way, because AI is made out to be like the greatest invention of all time. And don't get wrong, it's fantastic, but it's cautious.
Makes great pictures. I can't fault it on that. The pictures, when I'm asking it to make some pictures.
If you go on Alex's Instagram page for context and you see all those like little 8-bit dogs wizards thing, that's courtesy of AI.
I can't draw, so
you also can't use technology, so we'd have no idea how to generate that. But yeah, anything else to add before we go?
No, I think that's it. What did I say last time? Don't do drugs. What's another parting message?
Don't train like a bitch.
Don't train like a bitch. Boom.
Peace. Bye.